Welcome to our last fireside chat before the school year officially begins. I have a lot to cover today, so this one's going to be a little longer than normal, so buckle up and we'll dive right in. I want to start by saying out loud how very different, how very challenging, and yet innovative that this school year promises to be. The reality is we continue to move forward in a constant state of flux. This isn't black and white. We talk about the sand shifting between us. We are living in various shades of gray, so pick your metaphor. The good news is we've been planning and preparing, and we're in a good place to take on the challenge of kicking off the year within a comprehensive distance learning model. Our ultimate goal is to get all of our students back in school and to connect in person with our children and families. We're committed to do that in a safe and responsible way that puts kids first and takes care of each other. So since we last met, I want to start by just recapping a few things since my last fireside chat almost a month ago. Many of us have started to receive our unemployment insurance checks for the 4 days that we were furloughed in May and June. If you have not received a check, or if you have received a letter different from the one that Rochelle, friend, referenced in her email, please reach out to Rochelle NJL right away. We're hopeful that everyone will be paid for all of those furlough days soon, and the process has already begun. Second, I wrote to all of you just about 2 weeks ago explaining that the governor, in collaboration with the Oregon Health Authority and the Oregon Department of Education, had issued an order that requires counties to meet certain COVID-19 metrics before school districts in those counties can reopen school for in-person or hybrid learning. These metrics will likely require all of our districts in our region to open in the fall in a comprehensive distance learning model, or CDL model, with limited in-person instruction for some of their students. Collectively, districts in our region plan to begin the year providing CDL, comprehensive distance learning, and then reevaluating 6 weeks into the school year. Please do not assume that they will automatically go to in-person instruction after 6 weeks. They can only move to in-person instruction if the number of cases in their county and the positivity rate of COVID-19 testing stays low for 3 consecutive weeks. Currently, none of our counties fully meet these metrics. So since we last met, I was very hopeful that I would be able to share more information about reopening early intervention and early childhood special education and other early learning programming with you today. That guidance from the state was scheduled to come out yesterday. Unfortunately, we were told that it will not be released until later this week. So we still need to wait before we know all of the parameters that we will need to follow as we figure out how to serve our birth to 5 students. We will get our EICSE and our early childhood staff more information as soon as we get it. What we did learn yesterday, however, is that there is some new flexibility for some limited in-person learning in our districts in special situations. For example, very small schools in counties with a population under 30,000 may be able to open in-person instruction sooner than those in the rest of their district, if they meet certain criteria. So, for example, in Crook County School District, the Paulina School, Brothers School, and Powell Butte Charter Schools will likely be able to open next month, but most likely Crook County School District will not be able to open the other schools in Prineville itself for in-person instruction. It's only the very small schools in that county because it has less than 30,000 people in it. The bigger surprise yesterday was that we learned that all schools may provide some limited in-person instruction to meet the needs of specific students in small cohorts. This is only allowed for very specific reasons. It is limited to 10 students per cohort, no more than 2 hours per day, and in a given week, no more than 250 people can be in a school. If there is one confirmed case of COVID-19 in that school, everything is shut down. Now, what this means is that some of our K-12 students may be provided some limited in-person instruction. This is brand new as of yesterday, and we in our districts are just beginning to unpack what it will mean and how it can be implemented. But it does seem to point to the idea that there may be situations where some of the students we serve may be provided with some in-person instruction this fall. Given how limited this is, we still believe that at least for the first 6 weeks of the school year, almost all of us will continue working remotely whenever possible, and likely much beyond that. So that said, it's important that we recognize that there will be major differences between this fall and what was true last spring. In the spring, we were operating under a series of executive orders from Governor Brown, which required school districts to continue to regularly pay all employees, despite the statewide school closure mandate, even those who were unable to physically report to work or even telework. Even though it could have been an option for some of our employees, the ESD made the choice not to require staff to take leave during that time. Today, we're coming back together under a new executive order, which provides that public school employees shall fulfill duties as may be assigned by their employers. This new executive order supersedes the prior ones, which required school districts to regularly pay employees even if they were unable to report to work. I want to take a step back and acknowledge that this will be amongst our greatest challenges as a team. As we prepare to reopen our schools and our programs and implement comprehensive distance learning and limited in-person instruction, we need our employees to be fully engaged to ensure the safety and quality education experiences for all of our students. This means that as of July 1st, all of us are expected to fully implement our work duties as assigned by the ESD and as provided by our collective bargaining agreement. We are still primarily doing this through a telework model whenever possible. We're striving for a balance here between taking care of our people and doing what's best for kids, which requires that we settle into this new normal of working primarily from home as best we can, when we can. As we do this, please know that we're holding a strong tension between flexibility and productivity. We are juggling our own health concerns and the health concerns of our loved ones. Many of you are navigating the extraordinary challenge of caring for your own children while also trying to fully support and educate the children and families we serve. There simply is no great option as all of our communities are searching for solutions to meet the childcare needs of our Central Oregon workforce. And while our ESD, in partnership with Better Together, is working on the forefront of designing school-age childcare prototypes even as we speak, we recognize that there won't be solutions for every situation or every household or every member of our own team. Now, some of you have expressed concern about returning to work in the fall. If this is true for you, please get in touch with your supervisor as well as JL and our HR team. So knowing what we know and understanding that it's time for us to establish a new groove, here's our stance on what work will look like this school year. In a sentence, we will work virtually whenever possible. Our standard decision-making tool will be, if you can do the work virtually, we will tend to err on that side. We know we won't always be able, that always won't be possible for some of our programs, but whenever we reasonably can, we will. So why are we doing that? As a regional entity, we will likely be a whole lot more conservative in our way of work than many of our districts. And the reason for that is the regional nature of our services means that we need to be cautious to not regularly move in and out of public health cohorts of kids, district staff, and community members. Like our districts, we have a great interest in slowing or indeed stopping the spread of COVID-19 because we want Central Oregon students back in school as soon as possible. So here's the rundown of where we stand. For those who can, we will continue working remotely as much as possible, from home most likely throughout the entire fall. There may be situations with EICSE and K-12 special ed that will require in-person service. As we learn more about the guidance around that, we will let you know. We will plan to gather virtually for meetings and trainings, not in person. When the metrics allow, and we can safely create contained public health cohorts within our programs, we will. While this is our general stance, as I noted earlier, there will be exceptions. As we navigate those exceptions, we will center equity as we put kids first and take care of each other. So now let's talk about our internal reopening efforts within the ESD. And we're going to talk about some of our strengths and opportunities. We're in a good place because we have the right people and processes in place to guide us through the coming months and beyond. Monday of this current week, 2 days ago, the Oregon Legislature held a one-day special session to rebalance the state budget given the economic effects of COVID-19. Overall, education fared very well in this special session. A few ESD programs received some cuts that we were mostly aware were coming, but not so much that it will impact our staffing. As I shared before, we are moving forward without the need for layoffs. As part of our internal reopening efforts, we have launched what we're calling a hub and spoke model to create a coordinated, aligned, nonlinear, and inclusive planning process for our internal ESD fall reopening. So we have a hub team that's made up of 10 people. They're coordinating this work centrally, and they're also creating a number of ad hoc, what we're calling spoke teams, made up of hub members and others. Those spoke teams will provide insight, research, and recommendations to the specific challenges of reopening. Spoke teams, which will include some of you, I hope, will share their recommendations with our hub team, who will share them with me. Currently, we have 9 hub teams that have been established and are in the process of moving forward. Comprehensive distance learning for school-aged students, comprehensive distance learning for EICSE, limited in-person instruction, technology for students, technology for staff, staffing and personnel issues, working at home, community-based services, and student and staff safety. You may be asked to be a part of this work, and we hope you'll be able to dive in if asked. Well, now let's talk about coming back as a team, as a family. And we're calling this Weeks of Welcome. Like everything else, our all staff welcome back is going to look different this year. And I'm pretty excited about it. So we're calling it Weeks of Welcome, or WOW. And today is our official kickoff. It formally starts next Monday, but I want to spend a little time today letting you know about it. It includes a series of optional workshops, facilitated discussions, and trainings that you are all invited but not required to attend. The goal is to help us ease into the year, which is promising to be like nothing we've ever experienced before. So we wanted to take more time to give you a chance to ease in. These opportunities will kickstart the year's continued organization-wide focus on equity, and also give opportunities to learn, adapt, and adjust to the new normal of comprehensive distance learning. We will not be time-sheeting for these learning opportunities, but if you are not scheduled to work during that time, you're welcome to join us if you're interested. If you need PDUs or CEUs, these will also be opportunities to help you with those as well. So here's how WOW works. Rachel, can you share your screen and show us the homepage of WOW? So you will be getting a postcard in the mail and an email as well to tell you how to walk through this. But in a nutshell, if you go to wow.hdesd.org, you will come to this page. And you will be able to do a number of things from here. You'll notice that there are a number of ways to view the calendar of what's coming up, or you can just click on the yellow button right there, as Rachel is about to do, to show us how to get to some of the activities that are coming up. So the schedule, starting with the week of August 17th, if you can scroll up a little bit, you will start to see that there are a number of sessions that you will sign up for. All of these are virtual. There are lots of opportunities to take advantage of sessions more than once. So if you're not able to do it on a certain day, look elsewhere in the calendar. Many are being offered more than once. Session details, which include information about the presenter, the session, if there are any prerequisites, all of those are there. If you go back just a little bit, please, Rachel, there are 3 sessions that require early registration. And they are, starting, well, these 2 right here, the Southern Oregon ESD Equity Summit, which is next week for a couple of days. I actually can't see all the way down, it's small on my screen, but the details are there. If you're interested in that, you can click on register for that. Kimberly Strong also sent out an ESD-wide message about this. encouraging people to sign up by Friday, if at all possible, so that we can, High Desert ESD is linking with Southern Oregon ESD to get as many folks as we reasonably can to be involved with this. So that's an example of something that requires pre-registration, as does the one right below it, Trauma Informed Educational Leadership Summit that our care coaches are putting on. In addition, excuse me, there's one more that Gabriela Peden has put together with a book out by Carol Delmonico that includes a watch party. And that is a little bit later. As you can see, there's opportunities for We Read that we're going to do this year. The Carol Delmonico watch party is there. When you click on the registration link for the session that you're interested in, you can sign up for as many as you want. You can do all of them if they don't overlap too much. You'll click on the registration. You simply fill in your name and your email address. You click on it, and an automated email with a Zoom link will be sent to you. So registration for everything opens around 1:30 today. And for those 3 pre-registered ones, you can link on those right away. Those are also, at least some of them are available on our Work at Home site as well. So we'll see you there. And apart from one session that I'll just mention in a moment, again, these opportunities are not requirements, but we hope you'll find some sessions that inspire you, address some of your questions and concerns, and help get you excited about the school year. And I want to do a shout out and a thank you to our Equity Learning and Resources team that has done a ton of work, as well as Rachel's team, a ton of work for putting all of this together for all of us. Feel free to talk to your supervisor if you have any questions about this. Weeks of Welcome will culminate with the only required session, which will occur on Thursday, September 3rd from 9 to 10:30, again on Zoom. This will take the place of our normal in-person kickoff that previously we held last year at COCC, before that Ridgeview High School. If you haven't already received a calendar invite and a Zoom link to the September 3rd virtual gathering, you should soon. So finally, keep your questions and concerns and ideas coming to us through the Your Voice link on the Work at Home website. It's incredibly helpful to hear from you always, but especially during these changing times. Take a look at our FAQ page as well. We are keeping it up to date, and many of you have sent in new questions, and thank you to Anna for staying on top of that for us. And I'd like to leave you with this quote from the late Alan W. Watts, who's a philosopher and author. And he said, "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." So thank you. We'll see you over the next 3 weeks of Welcome, and I'll talk to you soon.